The tragic demise of Princess Diana cast a shadow of immense pressure upon many, notably the team of doctors who attended her on the fateful night. As news of her passing at Pitié-Salpêtrière Hospital reached the world, a flurry of conspiracy theories emerged, accusing the medical staff of foul play. Despite a thorough investigation aimed at clearing their names, these attempts proved futile. Now, in a desperate bid to halt the proliferation of these unfounded rumors, Diana's surgeon, MonSef Dahman, has stepped forward to provide a detailed account of that sorrowful evening. Let us heed his words. Princess Diana's tragic death at age 36 on August 31, 1997, remains a poignant moment in history, deeply etched in the public consciousness. Despite the passage of years, the circumstances surrounding her untimely demise continue to evoke strong emotions and widespread interest. Multiple investigations have been conducted to unravel the events of that fateful night, aiming to provide clarity on the final moments of the beloved royal's life. According to the BBC, Princess Diana suffered fatal injuries in a car crash in Paris. The incident occurred while she was attempting to evade a relentless pursuit by paparazzi who had been trailing her into the Pont de l'Alma tunnel. This high-speed chase through the streets of Paris culminated in a catastrophic accident that claimed the lives of Diana's companion, Egyptian film producer Dodi Al-Fayed, and their driver, Henry Paul, at the scene. However, Diana initially survived the crash, only to succumb to her injuries later in a French hospital. The harrowing sequence of events began shortly after midnight on August 31st, when Diana and Dodi Al-Fayed left the Ritz Hotel in Paris. They intended to escape the paparazzi waiting outside by using a decoy vehicle, while their actual car, a Mercedes-Benz S280, departed from the hotel's rear entrance. Despite their efforts to avoid the photographers, several paparazzi on motorcycles and in cars gave chase. As the Mercedes entered the Pont de l'Alma tunnel at high speed, Henry Paul, who was later found to have had a significant amount of alcohol in his system, lost control of the vehicle. The car collided with a pillar in the tunnel, resulting in a devastating impact. Dodi Al-Fayed and Henry Paul were killed instantly, while Princess Diana was critically injured. French emergency services quickly arrived at the scene and began efforts to free Diana from the wreckage. She was eventually extricated from the car and transported to the Pitié-Salpêtrière Hospital. Despite the best efforts of the medical team, Diana's injuries were too severe, and she was pronounced dead at 4 a.m. The official cause of death was massive internal injuries, including a ruptured blood vessel near her heart. In the years following Princess Diana's tragic death, conspiracy theories emerged and gained traction, fueled by various individuals and circumstances surrounding the fatal car crash. Among the most vocal proponents of these theories was Mohammed Al-Fayed, the father of Dodi Al-Fayed, who died alongside Diana. Mohammed Al-Fayed has consistently maintained that the deaths of his son and Diana were not accidental. "They have been murdered. Dodi and Diana have been murdered. Definitely," he has repeatedly asserted. Mohammed Al-Fayed's claims are rooted in his firm belief that powerful forces within the British establishment orchestrated the deaths to prevent Diana from marrying his son, an Egyptian Muslim. According to Al-Fayed, such a union was unacceptable to the British royal family and the British state, which he alleged sought to maintain the purity and reputation of the monarchy. Al-Fayed's persistent allegations have kept the conspiracy theories alive in the public discourse, despite numerous official investigations concluding otherwise. One of the most sensational and controversial theories involves MonSef Dahman, the medical doctor who attended to Princess Diana upon her arrival at the Pitié-Salpêtrière Hospital in Paris. According to some conspiracy theorists, Dahman and his colleagues were part of an elaborate British plot to kill Diana. This theory suggests that Diana was not fatally injured in the car crash, but was instead murdered in the hospital to ensure she did not survive. The proponents of this theory point to the delay in transporting Diana to the hospital and the subsequent medical procedures she underwent as evidence of a sinister plot. They argue that the delay was intentional, designed to allow Diana's condition to deteriorate, making it easier for the doctors to ensure her death once she arrived at the hospital. Additionally, the theorists claim that the medical team, allegedly under orders from British intelligence, administered incorrect or insufficient treatment to hasten her demise. MonSef Dahman has categorically denied these allegations, emphasizing that he and his team did everything possible to save Princess Diana's life. In interviews, Dahman has described the intense pressure and emotional strain of treating such a high-profile patient, as well as the profound impact Diana's death had on him personally and professionally. He has repeatedly stated that his sole focus was on providing the best possible care to Diana, and that any claims of a conspiracy involving him and his colleagues are baseless and deeply hurtful. The allegations against Dahman and the French medical team have been thoroughly investigated and debunked by official inquiries. The Operation Paget inquiry, conducted by the British Metropolitan Police, examined the medical treatment Diana received and found no evidence to support the conspiracy theories. The inquiry's findings concluded that the medical team acted appropriately and did everything within their power to save Diana's life. The delay in transporting her to the hospital was attributed to the standard French emergency response protocol, which prioritizes stabilizing patients at the scene before moving them. Despite the official conclusions, the conspiracy theories continue to resonate with a segment of the public, driven by a combination of skepticism towards official narratives, the high-profile nature of the individuals involved, and the dramatic circumstances of the crash. These theories often draw on broader themes of distrust in government institutions, the perceived secrecy of the British royal family, and the tragic nature of Diana's life and death. Mohammed Al-Fayed's unwavering stance and his willingness to publicly challenge the official accounts have kept these theories in the spotlight. His allegations have been widely covered in the media, further fueling speculation and debate. Al-Fayed has gone so far as to pursue legal action and demand additional investigations, although these efforts have not yielded any new evidence to support his claims. In his first interview since the tragic night of Princess Diana's death, Dr. MonSef Dahman spoke with the Daily Mail on June 18, 2021, providing a detailed account of the events that unfolded under his care. Dr. Dahman, who had been one of the doctors on duty at Pitié-Salpêtrière Hospital in Paris, finally set the record straight about the last moments of the people's princess, a topic that had been shrouded in speculation and conspiracy theories for over 2 decades. Dr. Dahman recalled that Princess Diana was brought to the hospital around 2 a.m. on August 31, 1997. Prior to her arrival at the hospital, paramedics had been working diligently at the scene of the accident to stabilize her after she suffered a cardiac arrest. Their efforts were crucial in keeping her alive during the precarious journey to the hospital. However, the severity of her injuries presented a grim prognosis from the outset. Upon arrival, Princess Diana was immediately taken for a series of X-rays, which revealed the extent of her internal injuries. Dr. Dahman noted that the X-rays showed very serious internal bleeding, specifically a significant tear in her left pulmonary vein, a critical blood vessel near the heart. This type of injury is notoriously difficult to treat and often fatal due to the substantial blood loss and the complex nature of the surgical intervention required. One of the primary procedures undertaken was a thoracotomy, a high-stakes surgical operation where the chest cavity is opened to access the organs within. Dr. Dahman himself performed this procedure, which was aimed at relieving the bleeding and enabling Diana to breathe. He explained to the Daily Mail, "I did this procedure to enable her to breathe. Her heart couldn't function properly because it was lacking in blood." This statement highlights the urgency and gravity of the situation, as the loss of blood was severely compromising her heart's ability to function effectively. During the thoracotomy, Dr. Dahman made a critical discovery that profoundly impacted the course of their medical efforts. He realized that Diana's pericardium, the protective membrane surrounding the heart, was torn. This tear in the pericardium indicated a much more severe injury than initially anticipated. The pericardium serves as a crucial barrier, protecting the heart and maintaining its position in the chest cavity. A tear in this membrane not only exacerbated the bleeding, but also presented a significant challenge in terms of repair and stabilization. Realizing the extent of the damage, Dr. Dahman and his colleagues intensified their efforts, fully aware that they were facing an uphill battle. The tear in the pericardium meant that blood was flooding into the chest cavity, creating immense pressure on the heart and further complicating its ability to pump effectively. This internal bleeding was severe, and every passing moment increased the risk of irreversible damage and death. Despite their intense efforts, it became clear that Diana's injuries were severe and beyond the immediate capabilities of the attending doctors. By 2:30 a.m., the situation had escalated to a point where they needed the expertise of France's top heart surgeon, Professor Alain Pavie. Dr. Dahman and his colleagues urgently called upon Pavie to take over the critical case. Professor Pavie, renowned for his expertise in cardiothoracic surgery, arrived and immediately assessed the gravity of Diana's condition. He decided to move her to an operating room for more intensive surgical intervention. The goal was to identify and repair the source of the profuse internal bleeding that was causing Diana's rapidly deteriorating condition. In the operating room, Professor Pavie and the team meticulously examined Diana's injuries. They eventually discovered the primary source of the bleeding, a tear in her upper left pulmonary vein. This critical blood vessel, essential for carrying oxygenated blood from the lungs to the heart, was severely damaged. The Independent later described the injury as a hole torn in her heart, a description that vividly conveyed the dire nature of her condition. Professor Pavie undertook the delicate and urgent task of sewing the tear together, a complex procedure requiring exceptional precision. Dr. Dahman recalled to the Daily Mail the intense focus and urgency in the operating room as Pavie worked to repair the damage. However, despite their concerted efforts and the skill of the surgical team, the situation was dire. Diana's heart had already stopped beating due to the massive blood loss and trauma she had sustained. The medical team, led by Professor Pavie, struggled to restart Diana's heart. They employed all available resuscitation techniques, including manual cardiac massage and defibrillation, in a valiant effort to revive her. The team worked tirelessly for a full hour, driven by a sense of urgency and the profound hope of saving her life. However, the extent of her injuries and the critical delay in getting her to the hospital meant that their efforts were ultimately in vain. At 4 a.m., after an hour of relentless resuscitation attempts, the doctors made the heartbreaking decision to cease their efforts. Princess Diana was pronounced dead, a moment that marked the tragic end of a night filled with intense medical drama and deep emotional turmoil. Dr. Dahman recounted that the medical team tried everything within their power to restart Diana's heart. He specifically mentioned the use of electric shocks, or defibrillation, multiple times in their desperate attempt to revive her. "We tried electric shocks several times, but we could not get her heart beating again," he told the Daily Mail. This method is typically used to correct life-threatening cardiac arrhythmias and to restore a viable heart rhythm, but in Diana's case, it proved ineffective. The medical team's efforts extended beyond just defibrillation. They employed a range of advanced resuscitation techniques, including manual cardiac massage and the administration of various medications designed to stimulate the heart and stabilize her condition. Dr. Dahman emphasized the sheer amount of effort and determination exhibited by the team. "We fought hard. We tried a lot, really an awful lot. We could not save her, and that affected us very much." His words conveyed the deep sense of responsibility and emotional burden that weighed heavily on the team as they battled to save the beloved princess. The emotional impact on the doctors was profound. Dr. Dahman and his colleagues were acutely aware of the global significance of their patient and the intense public interest in her well-being. The failure to save Diana was not just a professional disappointment, but also a deeply personal loss for the medical professionals involved. They had poured every ounce of their skill, knowledge, and determination into their efforts, only to be met with a tragic outcome. Despite their unwavering dedication and the extraordinary measures they took, the medical team found themselves under intense police scrutiny in the aftermath of Diana's death. The high-profile nature of the case, coupled with the numerous conspiracy theories that quickly emerged, led to a thorough investigation by the authorities. The goal was to ensure that no foul play or negligence had occurred and to provide a clear and transparent account of the events leading to Diana's death. In the early 2000s, the circumstances surrounding Princess Diana's death underwent rigorous scrutiny during Operation Paget, an extensive investigation led by former Metropolitan Police Chief Lord John Stevens. The inquiry was prompted by persistent conspiracy theories and public doubts regarding the official account of Diana's death. Operation Paget was tasked with examining various aspects of Diana's death, including the medical response she received at the scene and at Pitié-Salpêtrière Hospital. The investigation aimed to address numerous allegations and theories suggesting foul play, negligence, or alternative explanations for the tragic outcome. A central component of the investigation involved a thorough review of the emergency medical care and surgical interventions performed on Princess Diana. This included interviews with the medical personnel who were directly involved in her treatment, as well as consultations with leading experts in forensic pathology. The goal was to ensure a comprehensive understanding of the medical procedures undertaken and to ascertain whether the care provided met the highest standards of professional practice. Among those consulted was a renowned British forensic pathologist who was asked to provide expert insights into the medical aspects of Diana's case. The forensic pathologist's role was crucial in evaluating the evidence related to the nature of Diana's injuries, the effectiveness of the medical interventions, and whether any deviations from standard procedures might have impacted the outcome. Lord John Stevens, who led Operation Paget, carefully considered the findings of these expert consultations. After a detailed review of the evidence, Stevens reached a definitive conclusion regarding the medical response to Princess Diana's injuries. He stated, "Those involved in the emergency treatment and surgery were highly qualified and experienced in their field. Their evidence showed that every effort was made to save the life of the Princess of Wales. No other strategy would have affected the outcome." Stevens's conclusion was based on the comprehensive testimony and evidence gathered from the medical personnel who treated Diana, as well as the expert opinions provided by forensic pathologists and other medical experts. The investigation confirmed that the doctors and emergency responders acted with professionalism and dedication in their efforts to save Diana's life. The weight of their failure was amplified by the global nature of the tragedy and the widespread public mourning that followed Diana's death. When it's a princess and you follow her funeral along with billions of other people and you had tried to save her, that obviously marks you. Because it's so terrible that this beautiful person had such a tragic end, Dahman said, capturing the emotional turmoil that accompanied their professional efforts. Dr. Dahman's reflections on the experience reveal the deep personal and professional impact of the event, the knowledge that their actions were being scrutinized not only by the authorities but also by the global public added an additional layer of stress. The sense of responsibility to save Diana was immense, and the failure to do so was felt acutely by the medical team. Their professional training and expertise were put to the ultimate test, and the emotional toll of the outcome was compounded by the high-profile nature of the case. Following the death of Princess Diana, her funeral was broadcast to millions around the world, drawing unprecedented global attention and mourning. For the medical professionals who had attempted to save her, watching the public's collective grief and the outpouring of sympathy for Diana was a poignant reminder of the profound loss. The public's reverence for Diana and the widespread coverage of her funeral served as a constant reminder of the tragic outcome and the personal impact on those who had been involved in her care. The guilt felt by Dr. Dahman and his colleagues was not simply about the inability to save Diana, but also about the emotional burden of knowing that their efforts were scrutinized in the public eye. The intense media focus and the myriad conspiracy theories that followed only heightened the sense of personal failure and responsibility. Despite the investigation by Operation Paget, which affirmed the professionalism and dedication of the medical team, the emotional scars from the event remained. What do you think about Dr. Dahman, about the death of Princess Diana? Leave us your comments in the section below. We hope you have found this helpful video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this and see you in the next videos. Goodbye.